So I'm starting a series called Brutally Honest Cruise Insights. This series is not going to be for the faint of heart, so if you get your feelings hurt easily, you're going to want to scroll on. But if you're looking for some brutally honest truths that might save you some pain, heartbreak, or money, this is going to be the series for you. And my first video for this series is called Don't Cruise If This Applies to You. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to every rule, but if any of the things I mention apply to you, I want you to take a long, hard, reflective look at yourself. As I would say to some of my nearest and dearest friends, I'm gonna need you to be so fucking for real right now. Number one, please do not take a cruise if you're having an affair. Whether you're going on this cruise to rekindle that magic that you've lost and to somehow work it out, or if you've decided you want a romantic getaway with your thing on the side. For the love of God, don't do this. Don't do this. Number one, if you're going with your out in the open partner, whether that be your marriage or your significant other, this is not going to end well because you're cheating. This person knows it. Y'all are probably going to just end up fighting. And the worst part is you can't get away from each other. Cruises are not safe places to work through your issues. They're just not. It's loud, the cabin walls are kind of thin, you're gonna be stuck together in very tight quarters. Honey, go on a wellness retreat somewhere on the left coast. But absolutely do not put yourself on a cruise so you can be miserable and make everybody else miserable around you. Additionally, if you think that going on a cruise with your side piece is gonna be a good idea, that's also a terrible idea as well. It's not like the old days where you could go at sea and nobody would see you or know about it. Literally everybody is filming and recording on cruises nowadays. Everyone. And somebody is going to see you. Even if you think they won't, somebody's going to see you. Honey, if you're hell-bent on being a cheating piece of crap, go out into a cabin in the woods. Or go somewhere that nobody wants to be filmed at. Like a dilapidated Ramada in Pasadena, Texas. But don't go somewhere where people want to take photos and videos. You're going to get caught. Cruises aren't going to be for you, honey. Number two, don't go on a cruise if you're a germaphobe. Now, I know that a lot of people like to use the term germaphobe to say that they just, like things tidy or neat. That's not what I'm talking about. If you are terrified of germs, like really terrified, don't do it. You are going to be sharing space with thousands of other people. And I hate to be the one to inform you, but most people are disgusting. A lot of people do not wash their hands. A lot of people just cough freely out into the open without trying to cover it. A lot of people don't wash sweaty, hot bits and sit those bits all over chairs, etc. So if you are excessively worried about germs, it's going to be a hard no for you. You're going to be miserable. But the truth is, if you're a germaphobe, you probably don't like to leave the house anyway. So the thought of getting on a cruise ship is probably already a big, massive no. I just wanted my fellow germ-conscious people to know that it is definitely a challenge. I personally have learned to make peace with it, but it's been rough, and I don't think you should do it unless you are very, very well mentally prepared. Number three, don't go on a cruise if you don't like moving around a whole lot. And by this, I mean, if getting up to go to the bathroom is your daily workout routine, then cruising is probably not going to be for you. It's just not. Again, I'm not saying these things to hurt your feelings or upset you. I'm just saying that cruise ships have gotten larger and larger over the years, and that means more walking and more movement. Quite frequently, the elevators are going to be crowded, and you may need to take the stairs to get where you need to go. If you're going to take a cruise, you need to take an honest assessment of how much you move and be realistic about it. Yeah, that realistic part. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a cruise and the person say, "Oh, I'm fine. I can walk that distance. I'm great." And they were not great. They were not great. Honey, I've seen people hold on to railings saying they're exhausted after 30 steps. I've seen people not leave their cruise cabins because they didn't realize how much they were going to be walking and moving about. And the truth is, you're going to be miserable if you are that out of shape. You just are. And more importantly, you're going to make everybody else miserable because you're not going to want to go anywhere or do anything once you're on the ship. So if you don't move around much and you don't like moving around, you really, really need to think long and hard about if cruising is right for you. And I personally think if you don't move much at all, you need to get yourself in shape before you go on a cruise or just not cruise at all. Number four, unless it's Virgin Voyages, absolutely do not go on a cruise if you hate kids. Now, granted, there are cruise lines that don't have a lot of children on them. Princess, Celebrity, Holland America, they allow children, but honestly, there aren't many children that are typically on these cruise lines. So I can recommend them if you don't particularly care for a lot of kids, but you can handle one or two. But if you really hate kids, stay your ass off the cruises. Stay off. Honey, I too remember the days when Royal Caribbean was a fantastic getaway for mature adults looking to live their best lives. I remember it well. But baby, those days are gone. Royal Caribbean is very much so competing with Disney, and it is a kid wonderland these days. There are water slides, there are flow riders, and there are literally thousands of children screaming unsupervised when you go on Royal Caribbean now. No shade to Royal. It's not their fault. It's the parents. It's the parents. Don't look at me that way. I told you this video was not for the easily offended. But realistically, you are probably going to be surrounded with other people's children when you go on a cruise, unless it's Virgin, which has no children at all. I really gotta take a Virgin cruise. Ugh. But if you truly hate kids, you need to accept that they're going to be on cruise ships whether you like it or not, and you need to plan accordingly. Otherwise, like I said, don't do it. Because honey, there's nothing worse than some screaming kids other than somebody else who hates kids screaming about the screaming kids. If you know, you know. Number 5, don't go on a cruise if you have absolutely no patience. As I mentioned earlier, cruise ships are getting larger and larger, and that means more people. And wherever there are thousands of people, you are very sadly going to have to pack your patience. Honey, if you want everything quick and fast and done in a second, go find my ex-husband. Again, I said brutally honest. I'm just kidding. But seriously, things are going to take time. It is literally going to take time to load the cruise ship. It is going to take time to get everybody fed. It is going to take time to get everybody off the ship. It is going to take time. And if waiting 30 minutes to an hour for anything could send you into a toddler meltdown, stay at home. Not only for yourself, but for everybody else. Because as much as everybody likes to complain about how kids are loud and noisy, I have to tell you, adults melting down because they can't get their way is so much worse. And honestly, the truth is, if your birth year starts with a 1 and a 9, you're honestly too old to be acting like this. Truly. Stay at home and find a good therapist before you bother trying to get on board and make yourself and everyone else miserable with you.